Good morning and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to bake for you pastry with apricots. Real, juicy, delicious apricots. And couple tips when you start making this. Couple hours before, take your eggs out so the egg yolks are room temperature. Same goes to the butter. Butter needs to be softened, so I also took it out of the fridge couple hours before. And 1 tablespoon of yogurt. So the yogurt, I already put it in with the flour a couple hours before. So everything has room temperature and that works the best. Thank you for watching. Let's get started. Sweet pastry with apricots. I will need 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 300 milliliters of milk, which is 1 cup and 1/4, 1 tablespoon of honey that will go into that milk, and 2 packets of yeast. 1 stick of butter. As far as the flour goes, I will need about 650 grams, which is about 5 cups. 5 egg yolks. Unless you have big yolks, then you can do 4. Vanilla extract, 1 tablespoon of plain yogurt, and of course my apricots. And for those of you who only want to make few, I will divide the recipe in half and put it under the video. First thing I do, put honey into my milk. I love honey and prefer to use honey instead of the sugar. And my yeast goes in. So this will have to wait a few minutes until it gets active. And here is my flour. 1 tablespoon of yogurt, my egg yolks, softened butter, and the vanilla extract. I put few drops. So sugar is in. Now we just have to wait for the yeast to be foamy and mix it all together. And now I can put my yeast in. You can see it is ready, nice and foamy. And I just have to mix it all together. I usually use the spatula at first and then finish it with my hands. Your dough will be a little sticky. I hope you can see it here. After about 5-6 minutes of working with it, it is ready, and now I will cover it and leave it until it doubles in size for about an hour. Of course, it depends how warm it is in your house. If it's really warm, it might be 40 minutes. If it's cold, it might be 90 minutes. So you just have to pay attention if it doubles in size or not, and that is when it's ready, and then you can form your pastries. And while I'm waiting for my dough, I can get my fruit ready. So for the apricots, I want to wash them, pat them dry, and cut them into smaller pieces. Take the seeds out. And what I decide to do is also use peaches. So I have a can of peaches and I have to drain them. And since I'm making about 20 of those pastries, I'm gonna make some with the peaches and some with the apricots. Since the peaches are in a can, they have lots of juice, and I want to make sure that I get all the juices discarded. I can use a paper towel to pat it dry. But that way, I will have 2 different ones. Somebody likes apricots more or peaches more. Well, I have something for everyone. And I do not need sugar on those because I will have a crumble that goes on top and also icing. So I won't put both icing and crumble because then it will be too sweet, but it's more for either or. If some of you prefer crumble, you will do the crumble. If some of you prefer icing, you will do the icing. I will have everything ready. When you have your food cut up and ready, it is so much faster and easier to work with, cook or bake. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. And here are my beautiful apricots and peaches. And time for the crumble. I will need about 3 tablespoons of butter, Cold butter is best, and I will cut it in small pieces so it's easier to combine all the ingredients together. So 3 tablespoons of butter. I have 3 tablespoons of sugar, and I would like to add maybe 1 teaspoon of brown sugar to mix it up. And about 5 tablespoons of flour. So the butter serves us as glue to connect all the ingredients together. If your crumble is too gooey, sprinkle it with some of the flour. If your crumble doesn't connect and it's on the drier side, put a little bit more butter in it. Once you learn the consistency, you won't need to measure it anymore. You will just feel it with your hands and see it with your eyes. How do I know my crumble is the right consistency and is ready? Well, when you take a bunch of it, squeeze it, and it connects into one solid piece, and then gently when you move it around and it falls apart, that means your crumble is in a good shape. Experienced cooks, they're like, easy peasy. My videos are not for the advanced cooks, the experienced cooks or bakers. It's, for people who just want to cook for their family And it's time to check on my dough. And it did double in size. Looks awesome. Now I will need a scale and make rounds about 100 grams each. I will need some space in between as my dough will still double in size. I have decided to keep it at 90 grams. I have more so I can share with my neighbors. And as I am working with that dough right now, I can see it grow. Yeast, it's wonderful. The more you work with it, the more it wants to bounce back and grow. And it doubles or sometimes even triples in size. And my last one, 86, so almost. So I have 15 of them if I do 90 grams for each. So I want to make sure that I have enough space in between so they don't touch, because if they touch, they're gonna stick together. It's going to be hard to keep their shape when they stick. I will need a glass, a little bit of flour so the glass doesn't stick too much, and try to create like a dent. I will leave those for about 10 minutes so they can bounce back a little bit, and in 10 minutes I will repeat that step and then put my peaches and apricots in. Cover for 10 minutes or so. 10-15 minutes later, I want to preheat my oven to 350, and yes, you won't see those dents as much, and you can work with your fingers to make it a little bit bigger, or repeat the same step and just push it back a little bit more. Okay, time for the peaches. And now time for the crumble to go on top. And if you don't want to use the crumble but icing, the icing goes on the end once your pastries are baked. Unless you want to do crumble and icing, then I would suggest to put just a tiny bit less sugar in the dough itself so it's not too sweet for you. Unless you really like it sweet, then you can do both crumble and the icing. And at 350, for about 20 minutes. I always set my timer to 5 minutes before just to check, because you'll be surprised, every oven is not created equal and can be baking faster or slower. I replaced my oven 3 times this year because one wasn't distributing the heat the right way and another one was 20 degrees higher and burned everything and I couldn't set it up. Here we go, looking good. 350 for about 20 minutes. And because I couldn't fit both of them on the same level, I will switch them around halfway into baking. So after 10 minutes, the one on the bottom will go on top, the one on the top will go on the bottom. The heat distribution is not exactly the same, but I want to make sure they cook even. And now for the icing. I have 1 cup of powdered sugar and I will put just a drop of lemon extract to it. And I've got just a tiny bit of that peach juice in here mixed with water, because if I only use the peach juice, this will be way too sweet. And now I'll put it in, mix it. It's all about the right consistency. I think 1.5 will do. So the consistency again is the key. And for the icing, I will use a sleeve. So if my icing is way too thick, it will be very hard to go through that little hole that you have. If your icing is too runny, everything will just pop right out and you will just have a big mess. So again, you will have to pay attention to the consistency. It has to be thick but still run smoothly. And that's the key. So this is ready. As soon as my buns are baked, I can put it in. Time to take them out. I have one. The other one. So let me come closer. Beautiful. Okay, time for the icing. I put my icing in a bag and now I can gently sprinkle it with it. I'm not going to do all of them, only a couple of them, just to show you. It's more for you than for me. I do not like my sweets to be too sweet. But this is just an option for you. How you want to do it is up to you. Here we go. Thank you for watching. Smacznego. I would like to let you know why I am a big fan of using scale instead of the cups. I do put measurements in cups so it's easier. As you know, I'm from Europe, so everything for me is in grams. And here in United States, any recipes you have is usually in cups. But I want you to pay attention to one thing, so take it as a tip. I learned by mistakes because I've done it before. So I have put together a flour, the same flour, all-purpose flour, into the same measuring cups. Exactly 2 cups in here and exactly 2 cups in here. But I want to measure it using the scale and show you if there is a difference and how much of a difference it can be. So here is the first 2 cups of flour, as you can see, 2 cups. And here is exactly 2 cups. All around, no cheating. And I will turn on, and there's nothing here, my scale, so it's set to 0. Maybe I should show you. So it's set to 0. If you can see, Okay, and I will put the first 2 cups in. And it says it is 248 grams. So now I will take this into a different cup, and it's empty. Put it back. It comes back to 0. And now the other 2 cups. All of it. And this one is 314. So now you can see that 2 cups are not created equal, right? They do not measure on a scale the same. So why is that? Well, it's all about handling the flour. If we are gentle with it, the flour is fluffy, is light, and then 2 cups, nice fluffy flour. If you handle the flour, shake it, kind of bang it, on the surface somewhere, it loses its volume because it becomes dense. So you keep adding to have exactly 2 cups, right? Well, but it's much more heavier. It's much more flour that you need. So if you ever had a cake and you tried to follow the measurements and directions and the cake wasn't quite the way you hoped, it wasn't as fluffy, it wasn't as delicate, it wasn't as soft, well, maybe because there was too much flour. So it's just a tip, and I hope you will find it helpful to kind of pay attention to how we handle flours. I know how it is when you bake something and you put your heart into it, time into it, and then it doesn't come out the way you hope for. And it's frustrating. So I hope this helps. Thank you for watching.